So, in 10.2, I said we are going to be looking at finding the area and perimeter of regular polygons. For today, since it's a shorter day, we're only going to look at finding perimeter. Okay? So, a regular polygon, as a reminder, has equal sides and equal angles. If you know that it has equal sides and equal angles, you can split it into some number of equilateral triangles. We don't know how many because it depends on the number of sides, but we can split it into oh so many triangles from the center. So, here is the area of a regular polygon. We're not going to touch on much of this today. That'll be more Wednesday because we're going to look at perimeter. But I'm going to talk about it at least. The area of a regular polygon, there's two different formulas you can use to find it. You can either say 1/2 of the apothem times the perimeter, which is this one here. A is the apothem. The capital A is always area. P is the perimeter.
Wait, what's an apothem?
The apothem is the thing that drops from the center to the middle of the side.
I thought that's radius.
The radius is from the center to a corner.
What does it mean apothem of sides?
And then the second way you can think of it, we call it area equals 1/2 san. The S is for the number or the side length. The A in the middle is the apothem. It's the same little a that was in the last one. And then the N is how many sides it has, because that's how many triangles we're going to create. Okay? So we're not going to do much of this today. We're going to look at mostly perimeter, but I want you to see that so that it's in your head for Wednesday. All right. So the two examples we're going to look at for today are finding the perimeter either given the apothem or the radius, because it's a different method depending on what we're given. All right. It says, if we're given the apothem, find the perimeter. So that's what we just looked at in that Google Slides there. We've got the apothem. It comes from the center, drops to the middle of this side, and it's really small, but you can see the little right angle right here. Okay? So if we can make this a right triangle and find this side length down here, this side length is half of this whole side, so we'll just double whatever we find. So I always draw in whatever I need and then kind of blow up the triangle on the other side, because it's really hard to write on figures that are that small. Okay, so I just redrew this triangle right here. That's my right angle. I know this side length is 3. How do we go about finding this angle measure up here?
Good question.
So remember, if I was looking at a different chunk, how would I find that angle?
Would it be opposite? It's tangent. Opposite.
360 divided by how many sides? How many sides does it have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
12.
8, 9, 10.
It has 10 sides.
36.
So 36 is from a corner to a corner. What if we want half of that?
Divided by 2.
Okay, so what's ours?
18.
All right. So in my little triangle that I blew up from right here, this top angle's 18. Okay. We're trying to find this side down here. So which trig function are we going to use? This side is the opposite and the adjacent. Okay? So the tangent of 18 equals x over 3. So how do we find x? Okay, I got to get a calculator for that. What is 3 times the tan of 18?
0.97, so we round it up to 1.
No, it's like 54.
3 times 18 is 54.
No, 3 times the tangent of 18. Alright, so x is about 0.97.
And I have to double that.
And then we need to double it because we only found half of this side. So let's see if I can find another color. So this whole side is 2x. So 2 times 0.97 gives us what?
1.94.
And if you round, it's really 9.5. So, on your calculator, I need you to get in the habit of this because Delta Math will mark it wrong if you're estimating your decimals and then using your rounded decimal. When you did this math here, and you did 3 times the tangent of 18, if you're going to use this number later, don't use your rounded version. Just do then times 2. Because that gives me 1.949, which rounds to 0.95. If you didn't, and you used the rounded version from earlier, you don't see that next decimal that you're supposed to round up. So always just use the last decimal that you got in your calculator. Don't round it and then use a rounded number. It's not accurate. So when you did 3 times the tangent of 18, and you said, oh, that's 0.97, you're right, but that was just helping us figure out what to do next. Then keep that number in your calculator and then just do times 2. Don't use the rounded decimal.
So it's 1.9.
Leave the number in your calculator and then hit times 2. Otherwise, your decimal will not round correctly.
Please.
All right. It says we're given the radius, find the perimeter. Oh, we didn't even finish this one, did we?
What?
We still had to multiply it by how many sides it had.
Wait, I thought we already did the second one.
So this times 10 sides, right? All right, so this one had a perimeter of 19 point, I'll just round to 5. And since it's perimeter, we don't have a squared unit. It would just be the unit.
So it's 19.5.
19.5. We found one side length to be 1.95 and then multiplied it by 10. All right. Moving on now. What if we're given the radius?
Wait.
All right. So if we need the apothem, I'm going to drop this side down to the middle of that side length, which gives us a right triangle. I'm going to blow this triangle up over here so that I can actually see what I'm drawing in it, because otherwise I can't. So we know we've got a right angle. The hypotenuse is 17. How do we go about finding the angle up here? So any of the other ones have an angle of what?
45.
So 360 divided by, was this 8?
Is it what, 9?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Gave you how many degrees here? 45. So this angle is how many degrees? 22.5. Which side are we trying to find?
The opposite.
The adjacent.
What?
We're trying to find this side down here so that we can double it to figure out how long this side is. This side's x. 2 times x will tell us what the whole side length is. So what function are we using? Opposite and hypotenuse is going to be sine. So the sine of 22.5 equals x over 17. What is x?
17 times sine 22.5.
This is 6.5056.
Okay? You can write your rounded answer here to help you, but make sure when you go to use this, you don't round it.
Equals up to 13.
So 6.51 is my rounded answer from there.
13.01.
What was this representing again?
Half of the side.
Half of a side length.
Multiplied by
So don't delete that off of your calculator. Just hit the times button. 2. Okay? So this whole side length for any of them, because it's a regular polygon, is what? 13.01. And then how do we find the perimeter from there?
multiplied by 8.
Times that number by 8. So 13.01 times 8. Again, don't delete this number off your calculator and estimate. Just do times 8. Gives us 104.09.
Wait, I got 8. I didn't get the rest of them numbers.
If you rounded, you wouldn't get the 9 here. That's why you can't round before you type it in again.
Makes sense.
All right.